right, I'm going to talk about paragraph shading in this video, and it's a great way to create a highlight of a block of text that you want to make stand out in a certain way. It sort of looks like this when you highlight text just to do something to it, but we're going to actually make that stay. So I'm going to do it to the speaker in this block of text. We go to the paragraph menu, or palette rather, and into the flyout menu. And at this paragraph borders and shading, and select shading, and select preview so that you can see what's going on as it happens. And then just click shading, and mine is defaulting to show a 20% gray across the whole column, so it's highlighting the whole column. Yours might show something a little different based on what your defaults are. You can select a different tint, and I'm going to leave it at 20 for now. You can also do things like tell it that you just want it to be the width of the text, which I think is what we're going to do here, as if we were highlighting it with a highlighting pen. And then you can notice that it's very tight along the edges of the text. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it I want an offset, an outer offset to that text. So I'm going to put, I'm just going to click out, and you can see at 0.0625 inches, it's a little big. It's crashing into the type below it. So I'm going to bring that number down. Let's bring it down to 4, see what that does. 0.04 rather. Still a little tight. So let's bring it down to 1 actually. See what we get. I think that's too tight now. It's a little too close to the center of that G. So bring it back out, and let's have a look at what we have. I'll click OK. And so here's where we are. And let me just remind you that this kind of process can take a little while to set up, but then once you have it, and you can make a style that you can use throughout a whole book or a whole magazine, etc. So it's worth the time it takes to set it up, so that then you just click a button to have your style enacted. So I'm going to go ahead and actually add a little bit of space to the sides so it can breathe. I'm also going to turn this into caps and bold so it feels a little better inside of a box, because right now we've got ascenders and descenders that don't feel so comfortable inside this box. So let's go ahead and change that. Whoops. And I can just go ahead and actually select in the character formatting controls, whoops, the caps, all caps. Nothing wrong with using the all caps button. That literally just changes everything to all caps. I'm actually gonna, you can see it sort of feels big compared to everything. So I'm gonna make it smaller, and I'm actually gonna I'm gonna bring in a bold. So just to create some visual contrast. And then, as you may remember, setting things in all caps can make things feel really clunky and heavy. So I'm gonna track it out. So let's see what we get when we track out Yewan Song. Let's bring it down just a little bit more and track it out just a little bit more. Let's see what we get. Okay, it's starting to feel a little bit better to me. So I'm going to highlight it, but you can see again, I'm going to highlight again so I can start fixing this, this shading. It's vertically not centered quite right, you know. This is, you can see even just with my cursor, it's bigger than the cursor here, but small. It's about the same as the cursor here. So let's zoom in. I'm going to highlight it, go back to my paragraph borders and shading, and sorry, my screen isn't quite as big as the text. I'm going to add some shading to the edges, but in order to do that, I have to unlock this so that it doesn't do it to all the settings. It just does it to the left and the right. So I'm going to put 0.04 for the left, so that added a little there, and then let's try 0.04 for the right. Let's see how that does. Okay, it added a little more. It needs quite a bit more on this side, so I'm going to try 0.8. Bring it down a little bit. Okay, that feels better. So that's where we are on the sides. I think that feels better, and I might just bring it up on the bottom just a little bit. So bottom 0.01 maybe. And I think this should feel a little bit better. I could, in order to make it feel like the edges are the same margin as the tops and bottom, I could make those wider. So that's, I feel like that feels pretty good. And now if I went ahead and say I liked this and I wanted to make it, let me just create another box of text here. So I'm going to insert placeholder text so you can see. And I'm going to, here's a little trick you may not know. I inserted it with placeholder text and I want to quickly make it look like this text. I can grab my eyedropper tool and just click on it and it will match that text. And let's go ahead and make this like pretend that this is a header. So I want to turn this into a style. So I'm going to put my cursor into that header, which is the name of the speaker. Go to paragraph styles, paragraph styles, and then option click on create new style. And I'm going to call it speaker name. Whoops. And you can see that we make sure that we apply style to selection so that it automatically does that. And there it is, speaker name. So now I'm going to just click into this. Whoops, I think these boxes are overlapping. They are. If you ever feel like you can't select something, it might mean the boxes are overlapping. So I put my cursor in there and I click speaker name and boom, it does it for me. So that would be really important if you're setting a whole lot of text the same way. So that is paragraph shading, and it's something that you may be interested in exploring after seeing this.